Welcome to Tracy Momi Reads. I am back with another book review, and today I am going to be reviewing Fredrik Backman's Anxious People. Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. I really enjoyed this book, and it started off, it kind of like, initially it was one of those books I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to put this one on the back burner because it didn't catch me right off at the beginning. And it's so funny because I have this app called Reading List that I absolutely love. I've been using it since the beginning of the year, and it is an app where you can like put in a list of books that you want to read for the year, for the month, for the whatever, or all your books that you want to get to on your TBR. And then once you start one of the books, you put that you're reading it, and then when you finish it, there's a button to click that you finished it, so it'll keep track of how many days it took you, and it has all the information about the book. There's a picture of the cover, the author, the ISBN, publishing date, and then there's a space for you to put notes about the book, a star rating, so it's just really a reader's dream if you're the type of reader that wants to keep track of that, because it just keeps it all in one app in one space for you. And you can cut and paste if you need to. Like I've done cut and paste so that I can, because it's on my phone, which I'm recording from, and I've done cut and paste like into my laptop when I'm doing my notes. But like if you're on Goodreads and you want to share like a review or your thoughts there, you could just cut and paste what you put into the Reading List app into Goodreads. But I mention this because I'm just looking at, for this book, Anxious People, what I normally do in this app is as soon as I start reading, I'll like put my initial thoughts, and then as the books kind of go on, I may jot down a note, and then at the end I kind of give my assessment. Well, one of the first things that I said about this book, it is so weird. I said, not sure I like the rambling / storytelling POV. Hopefully it changes. And that's how I felt initially when I started reading this book. I'm like, okay, what is this? Because it was like, if you're talking to someone who is telling a story, but they're kind of rambling and you're like, okay, get to the point. That's kind of how it was, but it ended up being a really good read. Something I needed after a lot of the books that I have read over the past few months. The basic premise, like when the book starts off, there's an accidental hostage situation that is taking place. And how it happens is someone decides they're going to rob a bank. Well, the police are called, so this bank robber runs across the street trying to flee before the police get there, and they have their gun out and they go into this building. Well, it is an apartment that is up for sale, and there are like 6 or 7 people in there like touring or viewing the apartment, because they're like considering buying it. So when this person flies in there with a gun, they're all like, oh my God, this person's coming to kill us, they're coming to take us hostage, what's going on here? So it was a total accidental hostage situation, and those people are like the worst hostages ever, because they were all so consumed with their own stuff that they couldn't even take this person serious, for bickering amongst themselves, bickering with their partner, fighting over who's going to end up getting that apartment. That part of it was just crazy and kind of hilarious. But the thing that I really liked about this story, it has been a while since I've read something where you can kind of see the art unfolding, right? You have so many people that love to say, oh, I've always wanted to write a book, or I could probably write a book. And they're not even really writers, or they're not even really that creative or interesting. But everybody thinks that it's just a matter of, typing words on a page, sending it off to be bound, and then, hey, voila, I have a book. But there is an art to writing. There's an art to crafting a story and evoking emotions and making people care about the characters, making people laugh, making people cry, making people take away nuggets and reminders, even like, especially if you're able to do that kind of stuff in a fiction story. like have like just disperse these things throughout that kind of makes people gasp and go, oh my God, or feel a certain way about it. And that is what he was able to do in this book. There were so many passages. I got this book from the library, and I underlined and highlighted a lot of the passages. I screenshotted them, but I think I may have accidentally deleted them. I can't find a lot of my screenshots, but there is one part in here. I'm gonna read something real quick because I think it speaks more to like what the essence of the book was about. So this is how it starts off. Okay, this story is about a lot of things, but mostly about idiots. So it needs saying from the outset that this is always very easy to declare that other people are idiots, but only if you forget how idiotically difficult being human is, especially if you have other people you're trying to be a reasonably good human being for, And the story in itself, when you really got to the core of it, was just about flawed humans, which we all are, right? There was this interconnectivity between all the characters, like as the story unfolded, which I love when authors are able to do that, like craft stories and give you, seemingly totally opposite or totally just end of spectrum characters that they are actually connected. And I'm not just talking about like connected because we're all human. I mean like legit, this person was there when this person did XYZ, or this person helped that person, and then like you find out it's like 6 degrees of separation between all of these people that happen to be in that apartment. And even with the 2 police officers, a father and son, who come on the scene, but all of their stories are interwoven where they are all connected, like legitimately connected. And I will tell you, there's mention of like suicide in the story, and like this bridge, it plays a big role in there because it's like a bridge where people go to jump off to commit suicide, and it can be seen from the apartment that all these people are going into to view. But and the other thing I thought it was, I love like British humor, and I've read a lot of books about British authors, so I kind of get their pacing and their dry humor and their wit or whatever. This book, I don't know, I've heard like a clip of it, and it's read by an American, but there was so many references to Stockholm and other like small countries in Sweden, so I'm thinking it took place in Sweden. But the way that a lot of the people were talking in the book, I thought they were British. So it was really weird. That part of it was kind of weird. It's like, okay, what is this book? What if you had to ask what a nationality was for a book, that's where I was. Like, what is this? But I just read it, thinking that these people were all British or had English accents or what have you. But it was just really beautifully written. And I think in the end it was just a delightful surprise as stuff started to unfold, and because it was just chaotic in the beginning. Not only like what was taking place in the story, but you kind of got that, and you were frustrated even as a reader, like, why are we going back and forth? What are these people doing? Why are they all playing dumb? What, this makes no sense. Is this whole book going to be like that? But you felt the same frustration that these police officers were feeling when they were like, after this whole situation was over and they were interviewing the individual people. Well, turns out that in the end they all ended up becoming friends, and they were protecting the hostage taker. So that's why they were all kind of playing dumb, like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. I know I didn't see the person, and what do you mean? So just how it all came together, it was almost a mini mystery, because when you're reading it, you're wanting to know, well, where did the person go? Well, what did they do? Because what I initially thought, and I was very wrong, was that because they were talking about how they got the hostage taker to let all the hostages go, all right? And so they all walked down the stairs, past the police or whatever. And I'm thinking they had done like an Inside Man, that movie, The Inside Man, with Denzel Washington and Jodie Foster. I thought that the hostage taker had just walked out with the rest of the hostages, and pretended that, that they were a hostage as well. But that wasn't what happened, which is, I'm glad, because I thought that early on in the book, and you know that would have been so disappointing to have figured that out, and that was not the case. But it was really good, really different. I don't know if it was so much a quick read, um, as it's one that you just kind of want to know what's happening, so you continue to read. It's one of those kind of books that you continue to read it because you want to know, you know, like, okay, what's happening or what's going on here. I'm trying to see if I have any good notes about it. That, yeah, this one guy, he was talking about how, you know, at the end of his career, you know, he was trying to figure out what was the point of everything that he'd done, like working for 20, 30 years. While at the beginning, he had been so eager and anxious to find his purpose with his career. And it just spoke to how, whether it's just life in general, whether it's relationships, marriage, parenthood, or whatever, initially you have such lofty goals, ambitions, and how you're gonna, you know, make this thing be the best thing, right, in the beginning. And then you get to the end and you think, was any of this worth it? Did I do a good job? Why did I make all those sacrifices? I should have, you know, woulda, shoulda, coulda, because there's all this stuff in the middle that happens in life that makes us kind of forget why we even started stuff in the first place. And that's kind of what everybody was, you know, in the book. It's like everybody was still grappling to hold on to that idealism of the beginning of their job, the beginning of their marriage, the beginning of their relationships. And yeah, because there was like an older couple, there was a young lesbian couple, there was an older woman who was really rich, and she kind of looked down on everybody else. There was like a con man. I mean, there was one woman that was 89 that had recently lost her husband. So there was just a mixture of these eclectic people who, like I said, seemingly had nothing in common, and all of their lives had been touched by one another, and they didn't even know it. And it just kind of reaffirmed their humanity and made them remember the beginning. So yeah, it was a very sweet love letter to life and humanity, but with a lot of humor and you know, what the hell moments dispersed throughout. So yeah, if you're looking for something that there's a really good plot, also some deeper meaning, something just different. Yeah, this was my first book by him, but I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to look up some of his other books. But Fredrik Backman's Anxious People, this one was really good. So yeah, anyway, that's all for today. If you have read Anxious People, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I just want to take a break here and thank everyone who has already subscribed. I'm over 100 subscribers. Yay! I sincerely appreciate everybody who not only has subscribed, but also people that comment, share, and, you know, engage on my Instagram page as well, which where all of this kind of started. I have so many books on there, and I used to do all my reviews on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram and want to follow me there as well, I'm at Tracie Momie, TraciMomie, just all together. And you can also look through my hashtag Tracie Momie Reads, if you want to see previous books that I reviewed, like on Instagram. Thanks again for watching. I will be back next week with another book review.